Let's talk about the battle for the #1 class in America. And over the weekend, Ohio State strengthened their case for that #1 class by landing the #2 ranked linebacker in America, Riley Pettijohn. Now they have 23 commitments, Steve, but there's still a few big targets on the board.
The Ohio State Buckeyes truly are building something special and have so much motivation to come back and get revenge in 2024. And Ryan Day absolutely broke the bank in the transfer portal over the last few months. So the win now window for this program is right now. And through all the jokes and all the trolls, with the way college football has been formatted the last couple of years, winning a national championship was super hard, especially for a Big Ten team. I think the SEC is better, and they would often get 2 teams into the top 4. But there's still no excuse for how this team has performed against Michigan the last couple of years. And it's time for them to make the jump back to being one of the most feared teams in all of college football. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the plays this team ran from last season, break them down, figure out what worked and what didn't, and I also want to talk about some of the prospects they brought over from the portal, and just some of the guys that I expect to have a breakout season. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 1K subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so in my previous videos about this team, I already talked about the main parts of the roster, and basically what the outlook for the 2024 season is. So if you want to see that, make sure to check that video out. I will link it in the description below. But anyways, in this one, I want to first start out talking about some of the players Ohio State added to their team in the transfer portal. So let's get right to it. So the first player I want to talk about is Caleb Downs from Alabama. Downs not only provides an elite talent, but he also gives the Buckeyes arguably the best secondary in the country, complete with 3 elite corners and Denzel Burke, Davison Igbinosun, and Jordan Hancock, as well as 2 top-notch safeties and Sonny Styles and Lathan Ransom. He was the most impactful freshman defensive back in a decade. Now, he will head to Columbus, where he will battle Michigan cornerback Will Johnson for the top defender in the entire league. Downs is the type of player who may not get the Heisman Trophy clout because he won't put up game-changing turnover stats, but he certainly can be a game breaker. This is what legendary Bama head coach Nick Saban had to say about him during the middle of last season. Caleb has played really well for us. He's very mature, the guy really pays attention to detail, and does a really good job in preparation. He wants to know what he's supposed to do, how he's supposed to do it, why it's important to do it that way. Moving on to the next guy I want to talk about, we have Quinshon Judkins. The former Ole Miss back ranked #1 at his position and #8 overall in the 2024 transfer cycle. He was named a second-team selection to the Associated Press All-SEC team, and it was a repeat All-SEC appearance for him after scoring a spot on the first team as a freshman in 2022. The Alabama native finished the regular season with 1,052 yards with 87.7 yards per game and 15 touchdowns, rushing on 237 total attempts, making him just the 8th rusher in FBS history and second in SEC history, alongside Georgia's Herschel Walker, to chart 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns across both their freshman and sophomore seasons. Additionally, Judkins is only the 3rd Rebel to ever break 1,000 yards multiple times, alongside K.O. Dotley and Benjarvis Green Ellis. And he is the 9th in SEC history to do so consecutively across both the freshman and sophomore season. Next up, the guy who will be behind center in Will Howard. We all know how mediocre Kyle McCord was last season for the Buckeyes, and without Marvin Harrison Jr., who knows what would have happened to him. But anyways, in terms of Howard, he displays an NFL starter caliber arm that threatens defenses at all levels of the field, and he's able to maneuver around the pocket to buy time and open up passing windows, while being willing to throw off balance, and he has the arm flexibility to still deliver accurate passes from unusual launch points. So basically, the Buckeyes got their guy. But that doesn't mean Howard hasn't seen any criticism on his game. I've heard people call him a not elite QB. I've seen a lot of things said from his time over at Kansas State. So he's got a chance to prove all those doubters wrong on the biggest stage in the horseshoe. Alright, next on this list, I want to talk about Seth McLaughlin. He is a 4-star center from Alabama that came over as the #2 interior lineman transfer and #91 overall transfer. He's from Buford High School and was rated a 4-star recruit by ESPN and handed a 3-star grade by 247 Sports. Following high school, McLaughlin opted to join Alabama. In 2020, as a freshman, he saw action in just 2 games and played a total of 11 snaps for the Crimson Tide. He allowed no QB hurries, no QB hits, and no sacks while playing sparingly. As a sophomore in 2021, he played in 10 games and a total of 354 snaps. He conceded 6 QB hurries, 3 QB hits, and no sacks while playing at center. In 2022 as a junior, he again saw action in 10 games and totaled 563 snaps. He gave up 9 QB hurries, 1 QB hit, and no sacks. And in 2023 as a senior, he saw action in 13 games and played a total of 784 snaps for the Crimson Tide, and he allowed 8 QB hurries, 4 QB hits, and also no sacks. One more player I want to talk about is Will Kaczmarek, a 3-star tight end that they stole from Ohio University after losing Stover to the NFL draft, who got to join his old teammate CJ Stroud over in Houston. Kaczmarek spent 3 total years in Athens and played in just 2 seasons, putting up strong production for a tight end in 2022 and 23. This fall, he recorded 243 receiving yards at just over 10 catches on 22 total grabs, 2 of which ended in touchdowns, the only pair of his career. In 2022, Kaczmarek tallied 264 yards on 20 catches. Back in high school, Kaczmarek played for the Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day in St. Louis, Missouri, where he graduated in 2021 and joined Ohio as an unranked recruit. As of next fall, he'll be taking snaps for one of college football's most historic powerhouses. So yeah, Ohio State brought in so much talent the last month or so to add on top of what they already had coming up in the system and the guys who played last year that didn't go to the NFL. This is a big year for Ryan Day because he is sorta on the hot seat after losing to Michigan 3 straight seasons and not leading this program to the success that everyone wants to see. But he's been right there. He was literally just a made kick away from probably winning a national championship. So it's really unfair to be super harsh on him, and he's still a super young coach with a lot of future ahead of him. Alright, now I want to talk about some of the plays the Buckeyes ran last season that I think they should take into 2024. Right here is Travion Henderson, who is returning for some more action once again. And he is just so elusive for the college level, can read his blocking well, and just knows where to go, and is so shifty. You can see that all on display here as he makes a cut left and breaks free with nothing but daylight ahead of him for the walk-in touchdown. Next up, this play can be bread and butter for OSU all season long because of how much talent they have all throughout the field, and if they can establish that running game early on, the middle of the field, especially deep, will be open, and Howard should have easy throws like this for big gains. Next here is just a pretty basic run concept, but like I've said, the O-line is just top notch, and they're going to have the most explosive backfield in college football. And when you wear down defenses, especially in smaller schools throughout the game, big explosive plays like this will happen a lot. So overall, I expect this to be a super exciting season for the Scarlet and Gray, and I am just so excited to see all of the talent on the field together in a real game. With the new college football playoff format finally in action, there will be a lot less pressure to be perfect in the regular season. So the Buckeyes can try a lot of different things out to find what works, and they will have room to learn from their mistakes. Obviously, there is a very slim chance they lose 2 or 3 games, but even if they somehow did, now there is still a chance to make the playoffs. I personally am so glad the committee implemented this, but let me know how you guys are feeling about it in the comments below. So Caleb Downs, Will Howard, Henderson, Judkins, all the guys across this roster, Ohio State truly is loaded with talent, and they are a team that nobody wants to deal with. My record prediction for them is 11-1. It's hard to say what the loss will be, but I don't think they will have a flawless season with all the moving parts, but the talent is definitely undeniable. That's all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly means the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all in the next one.